The first sign of power. The sky over Earth had always been a calm, vast expanse, stretching endlessly in every direction. But one day, something changed. It started as a quiet whisper across the planet's reports, from satellites, then from the ground, of strange movements in the atmosphere. At first, no one knew what to make of it. It was a mysterious sight that no one had ever witnessed before. Across every corner of the world, people gazed up, unsure of what they were seeing. High above, massive ships, far larger than anything humanity had ever created, appeared out of nowhere. Their shape was unlike any other known to humankind, smooth, angular, and vast. They moved silently across the sky, like shadows in the night. The world stopped. Everyone from the smallest villages to the bustling cities was captivated. Some believed it was a dream. Some thought it was an alien invasion. Others had an unsettling feeling that it was something far more powerful and familiar. In the moments that followed, news channels around the world erupted with the same broadcast. Humanity's warships have revealed themselves. The word spread like wildfire. Everyone turned their eyes to the skies, waiting for confirmation of what they were seeing. The government had kept it a secret for years, even from the very citizens they protected. Humanity had been preparing for this moment without anyone knowing. The Dragon Soul warships, a fleet of powerful, advanced ships, had been in secret development for decades. Now, the secret was out, and the world was about to witness something they never imagined possible. The Dragon Soul warships were a testament to Earth's determination. The fleet was designed with cutting-edge technology and powered by an energy source no one truly understood. The warships were enormous, each one the size of a small city. Their hulls glowed with a faint blue light, and their weapons were as advanced as anything seen in the galaxy. What made them unique, however, was not just their design. It was their power, an untapped force, far stronger than any alien technology the galaxy had ever encountered. For centuries, Earth had been seen as a weak, unimportant planet by the rest of the galaxy. The alien elders, the most powerful beings in the universe, viewed Earth as a species to be ruled, to be conquered. Humanity had never posed a threat till now. The sudden appearance of the Dragon Soul warships shattered the myth of humanity's weakness. The fleet wasn't just a military tool, it was a symbol that humanity was no longer the defenseless species the galaxy had assumed. Back on Earth, the mood was a mix of awe and fear. People celebrated the sight of the warships, thinking of the hope they brought, but they also felt the weight of what this meant. The Dragon Soul warships were not just a show of strength, they were a signal. The galaxy would know that humanity was no longer a target. Humanity was ready to defend itself in a high-security underground facility. A team of Earth's top military leaders and scientists gathered to assess the situation. The facility was built to handle the most classified operations on Earth. The room was dark, illuminated only by the dim glow of computer screens and monitors displaying live images from satellites and warships above. "Is it true?" General Samantha O'Connell asked, her voice filled with disbelief. She had spent her life studying foreign military forces, yet nothing prepared her for what was happening now. "Are the Dragon Soul warships really real?" "Absolutely, General." Dr. Matthew Klein, the lead scientist on the project, replied, his face grim. "They've been in development for over 20 years. We've kept it a secret from the world, and even from the galactic community. Now, it's time to show them what we've built." O'Connell leaned forward. "The aliens, what do they? Think of this. They've always underestimated us. Do they even know we have this kind of power? They will now, Klein replied. We've intercepted communications from the alien sector. They're beginning to detect the energy signatures of the ships. They'll know soon enough that humanity is no longer a vulnerable species. As the team looked at the screens, the first Dragon Soul warship moved slowly across the sky, its massive size casting a shadow over entire cities. Its presence was overwhelming. The ship wasn't just a war machine. It was an object of awe, a symbol of humanity's newfound power. The warships weren't just designed for defense. They were built to send a message, loud and clear. They were a warning to the alien forces that had ruled the galaxy for eons. No longer would Earth be treated as a minor player. Humanity was ready to join the galactic stage, and they would no longer be pushed around as the warships flew across the sky. Humanity watched in awe. Their collective breath was held. No one knew what was coming next. Would these ships bring peace? Or would they be the beginning of a long, violent war? But for the first time, humans didn't feel weak. They felt strong. They felt proud. The Dragon Soul warships had awakened something deep within humanity, a sense of unity and strength that no one could deny. In the alien council chambers, light years away, the alien elders gathered around a large, glowing map of the galaxy. They stared at the growing energy signatures emanating from Earth. They've done it, Elder Thaler said, his voice a whisper of disbelief. How could they have hidden such power for so long? How did Earth become so ... strong? Elder Heis, who had ruled over the galaxy for thousands of years, slammed his fist onto the table. This is a threat. If Earth is rising, then we have a problem. We cannot allow them to challenge our authority. Prepare the fleet. We must take action now. Back on Earth, the world held its breath. No one knew what would happen next. All they knew was that humanity had finally shown its strength. The Dragon Soul warships were just the beginning. The future was uncertain. But one thing was clear. Humanity's myth of weakness had been shattered forever. A galaxy in Shakos, the universe. A strange silence hung in the air. For centuries, the alien elders had ruled with unmatched power, commanding entire star systems and crushing any who dared challenge their supremacy. The galaxy had always been divided, with the elders sitting at the top, enjoying control and dominance over every species beneath them. Earth, a tiny planet, in the far reaches of the universe, had always been seen as weak and insignificant, but now, as the Dragon Soul warships moved through the galaxy, the status quo was being shattered, and the universe was beginning to tremble. The first Dragon Soul warship had made its way through the borders of galactic space, heading toward a region controlled by the alien forces. It was an enormous vessel, its presence a clear message to anyone who saw it. Humanity had arrived, and it was not to be underestimated. On Earth, every nation, every city, watched as the warships flew across the skies. The world was united for the first time in history, witnessing the unveiling of a power that had long been hidden. The air was thick with tension, the kind of tension that only came when something monumental was about to happen in the High Command. Center of the Dragon Soul fleet, Captain Jonas Klein stood in front of a massive view screen, observing the approaching galaxy. His thoughts were focused on the task ahead. The warships had come this far, but what would happen when they encountered the aliens who had once ruled the galaxy? He had prepared his crew for this moment, but even he didn't know what awaited them in the unknown reaches of space. "We are entering alien-controlled space," Klein said, his voice steady, though a flicker of concern passed over his face. "Ready, all weapons. Stay alert." We're about to show the galaxy what humanity is made of. The crew of the Dragon Soul warships, their faces grim but determined, followed Klein's orders without hesitation. They had no fear of the unknown. They were Earth's last line of defense, and they would fight with everything they had. The stakes were high, and the time to prove humanity's strength had come. In the distant councils of the alien elders, panic began to set in. The alien elders, who had never known fear in their long reign, were beginning to feel the first stirrings of something they had not experienced in centuries' doubt. The Dragon Soul warships were unlike anything they had ever encountered. Their energy was unlike anything they had seen before. They had assumed Earth would remain a passive planet, a species too primitive to challenge their empire. But now, humanity was knocking at the door, and they were not going to back down. Elder Talok, one of the leaders of the Alien Council, stood before a holographic map of the galaxy, his face a mixture of confusion and anger. His hands trembled as he watched the warships move closer to the core of their controlled systems. "They've crossed into our sector," Talok murmured. "How did they build such power without us noticing? They were nothing but a primitive species before, insignificant. This is impossible." Elder Heiser, his face calm but his voice cold with anger, turned to Talok. "Their rise is a threat to everything we've built. If we allow them to continue unchallenged, they will disrupt the entire balance of the galaxy. We must strike first," Talok replied sharply. "Prepare our fleets. We cannot allow them to reach the heart of our empire. We must stop them before they can do more damage." Across the galaxy, the alien elders gathered their forces, preparing for a battle that they had never anticipated. They had always ruled, with an iron fist, using fear and force to maintain their control. But now, they were unsure. They had never faced an enemy like humanity. The Dragon Soul warships were proving to be more than just a military force. They were a symbol of humanity's unyielding spirit. And that terrified the elders. As the Dragon Soul warships approached the heart of alien-controlled space, Captain Klein stood at the bridge, his eyes fixed on the starry void outside. The moment of truth was fast approaching. His crew, once ordinary people from Earth, had now become soldiers of a new age. The mission was simple: show the universe that humanity was no longer weak. But how would the galaxy respond to this sudden shift in power? "We've reached their border," Klein said, his voice steady. "Prepare to engage. They'll be waiting for us. Stay sharp, everyone." As the Dragon Soul warships continued their march into the heart of the alien empire, an unspoken feeling grew among the crew. Anticipation. They knew they had the strength to face whatever came next, but they also knew that the true test of humanity's power wasn't just about the warships or the weapons. It was about standing up to those who thought humanity would never rise. Back in the heart of the alien empire, the fleets were ready. The alien elders, in their hidden citadel, prepared for the first strike. They had no choice now. The warships had crossed into their territory, and they would not allow such an intrusion to go unpunished. The fleets were massive, filled with ships that could obliterate anything in their path. But even with their overwhelming strength, they knew they were facing something different this time. The galaxy had always been their playground, but now humanity's presence was felt. It would be a battle for the future of the universe. Would humanity's power be enough to topple the mighty alien elders? Or would the forces of the galaxy crush humanity's fledgling might? The first clash was inevitable, and as the Dragon Soul warships advanced, the tension in the air was palpable. Humanity had crossed into the unknown, and there was no turning back. The ultimate test. The Dragon Soul warships cut through the vastness of space like a blade through the void, their presence undeniable. Earth's warships, powered by the mysterious Dragon Soul core, had already proven their might by tearing through the alien fleet. But this was no time to celebrate. Ahead lay the heart of the alien empire, a place where even the bravest soldiers hesitated to venture. Humanity's challenge wasn't just about the fight, it was about proving that Earth had the strength to be a dominant force in the galaxy. Captain Jonas Klein stood before the massive command screen, watching as their sensors detected massive energy signatures up ahead. The Dragon Soul warships were on a direct course to face the full might of the alien elders. This wasn't just a confrontation. It was the ultimate test of humanity's strength, and the stakes were higher than ever. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission," Maya Reyes, his second-in-command, said. Her voice was steady, but Klein could hear the unease in it. "It's coming from the alien fleet. They're offering ... terms." Klein's brow furrowed. He had anticipated resistance, but this felt different. Was the alien empire trying to negotiate, or was this just a trap? "Put it on screen," Klein ordered. The view screen flickered, and the cold face of Elder Talok appeared. His expression was one of fury, but also a strange, reluctant respect. "You have crossed into our domain, human," Talok's voice boomed. "We have watched you for centuries. Your kind has always been weak, insignificant, but now you have awakened something that should have stayed buried. These ships, these Dragon Soul warships, are a mistake." Klein's eyes narrowed as he listened. The time for words was over. "He wasn't here for negotiations. We didn't come here to negotiate, Elder," Klein replied, his voice strong and unwavering. "We came here to show you that Earth is no longer a target. We came here to claim our place in this galaxy. We came here to show you that we are no longer afraid." Elder Talok's eyes flickered with a mixture of rage and disbelief. "You think you can defeat us? You are nothing compared to the power we possess. You will fall before our might, just as every other species has." But Klein wasn't intimidated. "We're done running, Elder. Your reign of terror is over." With that, the transmission cut off. Silence filled the bridge of the Dragon Soul as Klein gave the order. "All units, prepare for battle," Klein said. "We're going in." As the Dragon Soul warships neared the heart of the alien empire, the atmosphere grew tense. The fleet ahead was massive, filled with ships that outnumbered them by far. It was a fleet that had crushed every civilization in its path, yet humanity was undeterred. They had something the alien elders didn't hope: unity and a powerful weapon. They could not understand the Dragon Soul core. The moment arrived, and the battle began with explosive fury. Alien ships, sleek and deadly, shot through space, launching waves of energy blasts toward the Dragon Soul warships. But humanity's ships were unlike anything the aliens had ever faced. The Dragon Soul warships retaliated with equal force, unleashing waves of energy that tore through the alien lines. The aliens' weapons, though advanced, were nothing compared to the raw power of the Dragon Soul core. As the Dragon Soul warships cut through the alien fleet, Captain Klein's eyes were fixed on the horizon. The battle was far from over, but humanity was already showing its strength. For the first time, the alien elders were fighting a species that wasn't intimidated by their might. Humanity wasn't backing down, no matter how many ships they sent. But the alien elders had one last card to play, their most powerful weapon: the Elder Starfire, It's here, Maya said, her voice rising in alarm. The Elder Starfire was unlike anything they had ever seen. It was a weapon of mass destruction, a ship capable of obliterating entire planets, and it was heading straight for them. We need to disable it, now, Klein barked. The Dragon Soul warships charged forward, maneuvering through the hail of alien fire. The Elder Starfire loomed ahead, its massive form shining with energy. The alien fleet was now backing it up, giving it all the protection it needed. Klein's mind raced. This was the ultimate test, the moment where humanity would either prove its place in the galaxy or be wiped out in the blink of an eye. He gave the order, "Focus all fire on the Elder Starfire. This is our only chance." The Dragon Soul warships aligned their weapons, focusing every ounce of energy on the massive alien ship. A bright, powerful beam shot out from the Dragon Soul core, slamming into the Elder Starfire with an earth-shaking impact. The ship shook violently, its shields flickering and failing as the energy from the Dragon Soul core pierced through its defenses. The Elder Starfire retaliated, firing a massive blast that rocked the Dragon Soul warships. But the ship held strong, its powerful energy shields absorbing the hit. With another powerful blast, the Dragon Soul warships struck again, and this time the Elder Starfire exploded in a brilliant flash of light. The alien fleet faltered. The Elder Starfire was their last hope, and now it was gone. Klein stood tall on the bridge, watching the wreckage of the alien ship fade into the distance. "We did it," he whispered. Humanity had faced their greatest challenge and won. The battle was far from over, but the tide had turned. Humanity had proven itself. The Dragon Soul warships had shown the galaxy that Earth was no longer a weak, insignificant planet. They were a force to be reckoned with. As the alien fleet retreated, Captain Klein looked out at the stars ahead. This was only the beginning. The Dragon Soul warships had broken the myth of humanity's weakness, but the universe still had many dangers waiting. The war was not over, but humanity had taken its first step toward dominance in the galaxy. Humanity's triumph, the remnants of the Elder Starfire, floated lifeless in the dark expanse of space. Its once brilliant form was now little more than debris, shattered beyond recognition by the relentless power of the Dragon Soul warships. The alien fleet, once confident in their superiority, now began to retreat, their pride shattered, their forces broken. For the first time in history, humanity had turned the tide of battle against a galactic empire that had ruled for eons. Captain Jonas Klein stood at the helm of the lead Dragon Soul warship, staring out into the void. The battle was over, but the silence that followed was almost deafening. He could feel the weight of what they had just accomplished. Humanity had done the impossible. The Dragon Soul warships had not only destroyed the Elder Starfire, but had decimated an entire fleet. They had shattered the myth of human weakness that had existed for centuries. "This isn't just a victory for us," Klein said, his voice low, almost in disbelief. "This is a victory for every single person back on Earth, for every human who ever felt powerless. This is proof that we are not just a footnote in the galaxy. We are a force to be reckoned with." Maya Reyes, standing beside him, nodded quietly. She had seen the devastation up close, and the truth was clear now. Humanity's place in the universe had been changed forever. No longer would they be pushed aside. No longer would they be seen as inferior. The Dragon Soul warships had proven that the power of the human spirit was unstoppable, but even in the quiet of victory, a gnawing feeling of uncertainty lingered. The Dragon Soul warships had won this battle, but the war was far from over. The alien elders, though beaten, were not destroyed. They would regroup, adapt, and return if they could. The galaxy was vast, and many other forces could pose a threat to Earth's newfound strength. We may have won the battle, but the real challenge lies ahead, Klein said, turning to face his crew. This victory isn't the end. It's the beginning of a new chapter for humanity. But we must remain vigilant. The galaxy is watching, and there are many who will want to test us. Across the Dragon Soul fleet, the crew worked tirelessly to assess the damage, making repairs and preparing for the next step. The alien forces were scattered, but the Dragon Soul warships remained intact, a symbol of humanity's resolve. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the world was still processing the events that had unfolded. News outlets broadcasted images of the Dragon Soul warships as they returned home, filling the skies above the cities, their powerful energy fields still glowing faintly. People cheered in the streets, celebrating the victory they had once thought impossible. No longer did they see themselves as mere inhabitants of a forgotten corner of the galaxy. They had a weapon, a force that could rival anything the universe had to offer, that the world was united in a way it had never been before. In every nation, every culture, people stood together, proud of what humanity had achieved. The Dragon Soul warships were not just machines. They were a symbol of everything Earth had fought for: the resilience, the unity, the spirit of humanity that could not be broken. In the alien council chambers, Elder Talok and his fellow elders sat in stunned silence. The destruction of the Elder Starfire had shaken them to their core. It was a weapon they had believed to be unbeatable, a ship that was the crown jewel of their fleet. But it had been brought down by humanity. The implications were far-reaching. "What do we do now?" one elder asked, his voice trembling with fear. "We've never faced an enemy like this, Earth. They've changed everything." Elder Hyzar, the leader of the alien elders, finally spoke. His voice was cold, but it carried a hint of uncertainty. "We regroup, we adapt. We will not allow this to go unanswered. Humanity may have won this round, but they have made a dangerous mistake. They have awakened a war that we are now bound to finish." The alien elders knew that they could not allow humanity to rise unchecked. The Dragon Soul warships had proved that Earth had power beyond anything they had anticipated. The galaxy would not sit idly by while a once weak species gained the strength to challenge the established order. Earth's rise had shaken the foundation of galactic power, and the alien elders would not rest until they had reclaimed their dominance. Back on Earth, however, there was no turning back. Humanity had tasted victory, and they would not settle for anything less than their rightful place in the galaxy. Earth was no longer a silent observer, was a player, and it had the power to shape its own destiny. As the Dragon Soul warships returned to Earth's orbit, the crew stood together, looking out at the blue planet below. The victory was sweet, but Klein knew the journey was far from over. "This is just the beginning," he said, his voice filled with conviction. "The galaxy may be vast, and the threats may be many, but humanity has proven one thing today: we are here to stay." And as the Dragon Soul warships hovered above Earth, the universe watched. The myth of humanity's weakness had been shattered, and a new era was dawning. Humanity had proven that no matter the odds, they would rise. The fight for the future had just begun, and the galaxy would never be the same again.